Alrighty, so this is war number 4. We take on Kenobi, who, well, we don't know too much about if they're legit or not, but that's okay. So I'm going to take path 8 in section 1. I run into a Silver Surfer. We're going to use Doom, because Doom handles pretty much any cosmic, it seems like now. So I'm going to boost up fairly big here because I am going to quake for the first time. Well, the first time this war after this fight. So I make sure I boost a little bit bigger than usual because I still don't want to die with Quake, so she doesn't get taken away from me again. So this is going to be a pretty easy fight here. I'm going to check the nodes just to make sure. The buff and balance was the one thing I was kind of worried about because he gained so many buffs, so I should be losing power constantly. So first thing I attack into the block, go with the intercept, and then heavy. As you can see, I'm doing a lot of damage really quickly here. So as you can see, I still have the power drain on me too because that power of cosmic counts as a buff as well. So nullified him, got the SP1, and now I'm going to parry and just light attack to steal the power to get me to another SP1. Because I saw the cosmic rod was coming up again, and then I'd be power drained, so... And I just consistently throw SP1s over and over again in this fight, just because there's no point in getting to the higher specials, because he is immune to the SP2. He's not immune, but basically he can willpower off it, and he gains more attack. So I made a little mistake right there because I wasn't checking on the shock that was up. It fell off a little bit quicker than I expected, so I took a combo to the face, but as you can see, it only did 7% of my health, so no complaints there. I do get too much power here, throw the SP2, and as you can see, it does no damage. He's just willpower healing off of it. So I'm going to just play a little bit safer because he does get a bunch more damage, passive damage with that. So, and then another SP1. Going to wait for the SP2 here. I'm just going to block it because why make a mistake and die when it's not going to do that much damage. So parry and then 2-hit combo to finish it off. Nothing too crazy there. And so this one was either Pete or I gonna quake it. I was in there first. Enzo moved, so I had enough energy and I was boosted. So I said I would quake it for us. And it's not going to be too tough, actually. You know, I've been practicing with Quake quite a bit lately because I knew I would eventually get to try to use her again in war after she has been taken away from me, I think a total of 3 times now. So I'm getting my shot one more time, so I'm trying to make the most of it. As you can see, I dashed back 1 extra time there, but she didn't punish me for it, so... And then I don't run suicides ever, so I don't have the extra suicide damage. I don't run suicides mostly because my main attacker is Doom typically, and Doom is awful with suicides, so I just decided to not do that. And just do one parry just because I thought that she was going to die, but she did not, so all good there. Pretty easy fight, and then going back into it a little bit later, I'm taking path 8 again. And now this fight, I boosted up for early because I wasn't sure what I was going to do here. I also was an idiot and boosted before I healed. I thought I healed after that last fight, but I was boosted then too. So I wasn't supposed to use Doom for this fight originally, but I read the node and we came to a consensus that Doom is probably the better option because of the weakness debuffs that I get because of his armor ups. So it just didn't I wasn't sure how it would interact with Quake. So basically Taters and I talked it over and he said, "You know what? Just use Doom. It's a good call just in case." I'm like, "All right, that's no problem." Doom basically only thing I do here is just throw SP1s just because SP2s can trigger protection and all that stuff, so I didn't want to do that. So SP1 after SP1, which makes it a pretty long fight, but, nothing too crazy. Doom just handles it. When I first got into the fight, I was laying on my stomach and my hand kind of went numb, so I was readjusting as the fight started. That's why I took the heavy, and I was like, oh, well, here we are. This is starting out really well, but we recovered very nicely and just made it a pretty easy fight. Just SP1 after SP1. Make sure I don't get hit by his SP1. So, but at this point of the war, we're looking. Our battle group is looking pretty good. We haven't died yet, so we have not too many fights left, which is pretty awesome. That is one thing we have been doing extremely well, is not having too many deaths per war. We have one deathless war already this season, so we're going for our second one here. Now this fight kind of freaks me out every single time because of all the power he gets. It doesn't freak me out, but I just know I have to play smart and bait as many SP1s as possible. So here I'm going to throw the SP1 because it's going to drain some power, and I take away all of his buffs so that way he doesn't keep gaining power. And all I'm going to do is just keep trying to throw my SP1 over and over again. His symbiotic buff, or whatever it's called, symbiote, genetic mutation, whatever, counts as a buff too. So that adds to his power gain as well. And since Doom can nullify that, it makes it pretty simple. All I have to do is throw SP1 after SP1 after SP1. And then with this fight again, I'm just doing a light, parry, light, 4 lights. I don't know how many I'm saying, but 4 lights just to steal as much power as possible. It doesn't put the shock on him, but that's not the end of the world. Here I barely get him back under 1 bar or 2 bars of power. So and then light, SP1 over and over again, just to keep nullifying all those buffs to make sure he doesn't get an absurd amount of power, and then SP2 me into oblivion. So, because I'm fairly confident evading the SP2, but it still is kind of sketchy in war every single time. I threw my SP1 a little early there, but my Sig 200 Doom just nullified all of his buffs anyways because he had his aura up, so not too shabby of a fight. Now this fight I was kind of nervous about. I had Enzo place some debuffs on for me, which was awesome. So he placed Suppression Field and the Siphoner. Because of this kinetic transference and power from afar, it was kind of, it wasn't the best. Like, I was kind of nervous about it, but I didn't have to heal up too much for it, so I knew that I would be almost full health, and if I screw up, I can probably take one combo. So the name of the game for me here is to keep those buffs up, the debuffs up, the Siphoner and Suppression Aura, because if those drop off, he gains a ton more power from kinetic transference and power from afar. So as you can see, I should have hit him once there and pushed him to the SP2, just because I can evade his SP2, where the SP1 just gives him so much power because of the kinetic transference. So, but every time I nullify his power gain, when he steps away from me, I gain a power gain. So I have a ton of power in this fight. Right here, I'm a little nervous because he does have the unblockable going right now. So I tried to, get him out of that, which this SP2 just absolutely melted him. And that's going to push him into LMD. So here, I'm just trying to stay as far away as possible and let him kill himself because I don't have the suppression field up or the siphoner. So I don't want to get near him because then he's going to grab the power gain buff. Where as soon as he dashed in at me, I could throw my SP1 to nullify it, which gave me even more power so I could control it a little more. So there, I nullify it again. This goes unblockable. It's going to hit me because I'm not good enough to evade that, which isn't the end of the world. And then one more combo, SP2, and Doom's SP2 fire damage just does way too much. And then hit into the block a couple times just to make sure he dies. So that fight went extremely well for me, a lot better than I anticipated. So I have these 2 minis up here too. We're gonna use Quake for Annihilus up there. Taters shouting out, love it. So, gonna use Quake for this, which, I mean, the positive with him is even if he hits me, he's gonna put the armor breaks and whatever other thing he puts on. The So, if he hits me, it's not gonna be the end of the world. But if I get hit too much, then obviously I'll die. Really surprised they only have a rank 3 with how high they are in the war standings all the time. I'm really surprised it's not a rank 3 and it's only a rank 5. So that was kind of cool that he didn't have as much health as a rank 3. So as you can see, Quake just kind of is melting him. So and quaking decently, not getting hit, which is a positive. So I do make one mistake here though. I am going to evade here a little bit, and then I think it's after this next cycle. I think I parry. How dare I? It's just not getting the job done. But positive is I'm gonna leave the fight with 100% health again, just because I was having a real good Quake day. So Quake still hasn't been taken away from me yet this season. So obviously there's still a lot of season left. So we're not gonna have high hopes that we keep her the entire time. But hey, 2 fights in a row bringing her felt good. So. And one more cycle and he'll be dead. And just like that, he's gone. 100% health, no complaints there whatsoever. That one parry, a little too far. Now, this fight, I'm really, really boosted. 30%, 15%, more damage on the SP2. I'm going to throw on a greater Mystic boost, which I don't think I'm supposed to do with magic. I don't think it interacts correctly. One other thing is I don't have Mystic Dispersion on. I usually run 4 points of Mystic Dispersion, and the next morning I look at as you can see, I have the little 4 up there. The next morning I wake up and I go into AQ, and I still see that 4 up there. I don't like notification headlines, so I had to look to see what I'd like if I got 4 new champs, which I don't think I can. I'm pretty sure I have almost all of them. Uh, so I look at it this morning and I'm like, I haven't had Mystic Dispersion on, which may have actually helped me out in this fight with I don't ever get close to 3 bars of power, where if I had my 4 bars of Mystic Dispersion, I may shoot up every once in a while when his power gain ends, so it's it was actually kind of safe to have it off, which I'm not too upset about. Now, at this point in the fight, I'm kind of like, how have I not triggered protection yet? Like, my SP2s are hitting hard. He's already down to 60%, so this is getting kind of strange. Another SP2 without it triggering protection. I'm like, okay, like this is kind of nice. Haven't had to intercept yet, so I can just there's the first one hits, and I don't realize it, so I parry, and then I go in for a weird intercept that probably shouldn't have worked, and I'm not going to complain about it. Another intercept that probably shouldn't have worked, but you know, I've been playing Magic a while, and she's a lot like Black Widow Deadly Origins, where basically if you 4 hit, they're going to come right back at you. So that's what I that's why I like Black Widow so much. She taught me how to intercept a lot better. I'm gonna try to finish this fight without without trying to knock the protection off until I get the next 2, and then I'm like, all right, I'll go for one more wild intercept, and somehow we get it. So I had 7 total fights this war, which more than I typically get, so I was pretty amped about it. I didn't die once, which is always a positive. So we're still deathless this season. So hopefully we can keep that up. We ended up losing, sadly, but our battle group ended 50-0. So no one in our battle group died again. BG3 is absolutely lights out this season, which is awesome. So hopefully we can keep it up and keep killing it. And I don't know who our next war is against, but hopefully we'll catch a dub this next one. Thanks for watching.